I just was raised thinking that's how it was supposed to be. We went to church, and I did not really have a relationship with Jesus.
The life I was living and the things that I was doing wasn't, a godly way, and God wasn't in our life.
Basically, I found, I guess everybody has their own sense of, their own way to deal with things, and I dealt with them with alcohol, and that's where I went when there was any kind of problems or hard decisions.
I just kind of hoped and prayed that, it would get better, and came to a time when I realized, as the kids got older, that it wasn't getting better. And
Priscilla and I just argued and fought worse than we ever had, and I'd taken the first step of the argument we had, and I left the house. I never thought I would do that. I told her she would not divorce me, and she went and did it. And I mean, it was like a TV show. We just it was okay, where do we go from here? And we were getting advice from everybody, and not where we needed it.
To be dared and to think it's not changing, oh, he dared me, and I'm gonna show him, I'm gonna do it, And so I showed him, and I did it. I had just so much hate towards him, and then I hated it that the kids were gonna start feeling that.
I was headed downhill, drinking, living out of my van, staying in hotels with friends, a 34-year-old moving back in with his parents. It was rough, and I was drinking. That was the only time that I could kind of forget about it, and then I woke up and it was worse. So then you start drinking more. I
would see the kids crying at night before bed. They would be crying, that Daddy wasn't there, and there was instances when he would leave, and they had a hard time. Gabe didn't come to a birthday party, and
I remember my mom telling me that when I was out and it was my weekend and I had the kids, that she found Garrett in my bedroom in my parents' house where I was staying, and he was on the bed praying. And my mom walked in there and said, Garrett, what are you doing? And he said that he was praying for Mom and Daddy to get back together. I found myself in the street, growing up, looking at the concrete, the dirt, and just saying, this is it. I'm done. I've lost everything. I quit. I give up. And Jesus came and told me to get up. I'm helping you now.
During all of this, I got invited to Simply Beautiful Women's event at Milestone Church, and I'd never been to a women's event ever. And so my girlfriend invited me, and I just thought it was amazing. I had the best time. I knew at that point in my life, I needed Jesus in my life. I signed up for the Women's Victory Weekend. It was just amazing, amazing feeling. I accepted Jesus as my personal Lord and Savior, and that day at the Women's Victory Weekend, and it was an amazing feeling, and I'm just thankful that I have the friends I have now, and the church that we found to go to that has changed our lives. Like at the beginning I was scared and trusting him again and everything, and now I do. I trust him. I trust him again, and I have seen so many changes.
The past 10 months of my life has been more alive and exciting than any kind of alcohol-induced crazy state that I was in. I love getting up and just living life. The peace that I've been looking for my whole entire life. It was so simple, and I fought it for so long. And I hate that I had to go to where we did in our relationship and my children, but I think my children will forgive me, and I want to show them a good way, a great way to live life.
We're both growing. We're both growing in the right way now, and when I think about the future and about us getting remarried, I'm really excited about it.
I just want to grow and be a spiritual leader and be the husband I need to be to Priscilla and the father to my family.
Gabe and Priscilla to come forward. We're going to remarry them tonight right here in this service. They're not getting remarried because they are just concerned with pleasing the institution or the culture or the society. They're getting remarried because now they want to honor God. So Gabe, I ask you now this question. Do you leave your own father and mother and your own self to establish your own home with Priscilla as her husband, to receive her as your wife, to make a home where she'll be loved and cared for as long as God grants her life? If so, answer, I do.
I do.
And now, Priscilla, do you leave your father and mother and your own self to establish your own home with Gabe as his wife, to receive him as your husband, to make a home where he will be loved and cared for as long as God grants him life? If so, answer, I do.
I do.
And now, by the authority vested in me by the laws of this state, and not only according to the state, but also more importantly as a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ, you've given your vows and you've exchanged rings, and I'll pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride.
I look forward to the next 30, 40 years continuing to be in a wonderful relationship, even closer together than we already are.